Hey there, thinkers. Welcome back to another episode of Critical Hit. My name is Est.
And I'm Ben, and today we're going to be talking about a controversy out there in the medium of entertainment that is gaming. So Starfield came out last week, and as do all games come out, there was certain things involved in it, and in this case, it was pronouns. So are pronouns a big deal in gaming? We're going to get into that. But are they in all parts of gaming? I mean, from what I've seen, yes.
I honestly do think that it's because it's in the forefront of every major issue, and it's always just my sexual preference is this.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I would say that's in all facets of gaming, all facets of entertainment right now, or even really
the forefront, in fact.
Yeah, a lot of people would argue that. So let's get into the article. As we get into the article, we'll break it down and we'll give our thoughts on it. So YouTube streamers' viral meltdown over Starfield pronoun turns out to be an act of publicity. So this is Heels versus Babyface, a YouTube channel run by Az, the gentleman you see up on the screen, has established a unique position in gaming and Starfield community. The channel has over 250,000 subscribers and over 50 million views. His channel is central for comprehensive game reviews, news, and commentary. He also gives a lot of reviews on movies and TV shows. Does he do TV shows? Anyways, he gives reviews about, I think, most of social media or pop culture.
From A to Z?
I don't know. He always says his name is Az. I'm not sure if it's from A to Z, but he always says his name is Az. Would be clever if he did that, though. Covers everything from A to Z. Az has been an active YouTuber since 2012. Yeah, I think he did MMOs back in a long time ago, like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that sounds like that time.
I didn't watch him a lot back then, and has experienced a consistent increase in viewership. His channel has gained attention in 2021, with Twitter temporarily banning Az for quoting a line from Game of Thrones. Okay. And yeah, I remember that at the time. They banned him, and he kind of went crazy about it. Well, I shouldn't say he went crazy about it. He just,
he made a scene.
Yeah, he made a scene about it, which I think was overall a good thing. It was kind of ridiculous at the time that he got banned. And there was another controversy not too long ago with the new Fable coming out that I remember talking about. But anyways.
Oh, right.
So this is the Act Man coming out, someone on Twitter, another YouTuber, saying, I wanted to see the guy who screamed about pronouns in Starfield, thought about the Hogwarts Legacy boycott, and I was not disappointed. The hypocrisy is prophetic. But I mean, this guy's ridiculous. Number one, the Act Man before has absolutely complained about over-politicizing games, and this is just that. So yeah, Az went off on the pronoun thing. Do I think that it was justified completely on this one single event? No. But I definitely think he was talking about a bigger, broader market than what we were alluding to earlier, and that it's just everywhere. And he's tired of seeing it. And when you want to be immersed into something, like the game, then, gamers in general just don't want to see this anymore. I think people in general just don't want to see it everywhere and anywhere.
Well, nobody really wants to see this at all, because, there was a lot of, people didn't actually want this game to come out. Because this game was so much like No Man's Sky. Why would this game come out when we can just play No Man's Sky?
Yeah, so, don't get me started about if it's better than No Man's Sky or not.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because why would you even give your money to Bethesda, which has, if you look at the Steam reviews, I'm pretty sure it's a whole bunch of bugs and stuff that, they haven't fixed.
Well, this is a Bethesda game. So, Bethesda game, I think you expect bugs. And I won't buy a Bethesda game. In fact, I still haven't played Starfield, full disclosure here, because I don't buy a Bethesda game in the first 6 months after it comes out, because I wait for reviews to see how buggy it is, and usually they fix it to, they don't fix it, the modders fix it to a playable state about 6 months in. And so I kind of wait for that time point. So I can't tell you if the gameplay is good. I've actually read or seen other reviews that say it's good for when you're doing something, but the problem is most of the time you're doing nothing, and that part is arduous, boring, just not so
boring,
great. And even what I have read from the good reviews say, wait till 12 hours to get in. It's
I would much rather give my money to an indie game developer like No Man's Sky, who can produce better quality games than Bethesda can recently.
Yeah, so No Man's Sky had a lot of controversy when it came out too, because it had 1% of the features. Well, no, it had none of the features it was supposed to. So
that's true.
But this was an indie studio. And you know what? They spent the next 5-6 years now since it's been out creating an actual amazing good game. And No Man's Sky is absolutely fantastic. I have played it. I love it. But what I don't think is the same kind of great here is Starfield. From what I hear, loading screen after loading screen, and Bethesda just never hits it out of the park anymore.
Well, no, Bethesda just said, no, fuck your immersion. Here's social propaganda.
Well, I mean, I think that's par for the course in all mediums of entertainment at the moment. But I think that's just where this as went a little crazy on it. Anyways, the Act Man, I think this is a crazy tweet. When he was talking about Hogwarts Legacy, he was talking about a boycott based on an external political ideology being inserted. And again, so yeah, he was against the boycott, absolutely. And the Act Man, I think, is just, like I said, I don't think his response was very thought out. Especially because he's argued against these points in the past that he's arguing for, apparently now. Anyways, that hypocrisy is prophetic. Anyway, the incident highlighted the platform's moderation policies, particularly regarding the context in which quotes and references are made. As response to the banning was tinged with characteristics snark, stating he filled out the form to be suspended, but added because the joke, you guys can't take a joke. That was in regard to the Game of Thrones, of course.
So because you guys can't take a joke?
That was in response to him being suspended from the Game of Thrones for Twitter. Or Twitter at the time, now known as X.
That was his mic drop moment.
So yeah, it goes on to say he's big in the YouTuber as far as games, MMORPGs, and single player at the moment. Recently, he released a review of Starfield playing with early access. He expressed his disappointment over the pronoun aspect of the game. Further, he covers the gameplay and reviews of the game extensively, including the skills and traits in Part 5. So yeah, he did cover the game. He played it, and it goes on to say he went over a tirade over the video about his pronouns, and yeah, he got pretty heated about it. He absolutely had a rant where he talked about how it's just boring, it's not a good scene anymore, he's tired of it being everywhere. And that's just it, he's just tired of it being everywhere. I don't think it's a slight against this specific game. Yeah, it highlighted it here. But it's just that gender identity is everywhere now, in every medium. And I think that's his point, is he just wanted to draw attention to it because it's just not immersive anymore. It's inserting what he says, current day ideology into what could be the future and what could be the past. And it's not immersive.
It's not. Bethesda just pretty much said, fuck you. There's no immersion for you. Nothing. No more of that. Because now you just have to, you walk up to somebody and say, hi, I'm she, her, or I am they, them.
Well, and I think the whole point about pronouns here is pronouns are meant to simplify the English language. Now, you can look up the definition. I think it's changed in the last year or two, because now it talks more about being part of gender ideology. But having said that, it was only ever meant, pronouns, to simplify the language so we could communicate better as a species. It was never meant to be an honorific.
No, now I just get social propaganda.
Now, if someone comes up to me and says, could you please call me this? Sure, I don't mind saying certain things if it makes you feel more comfortable. Fine. But to tell me I have to do this now, or to tell me we have to make the language more complicated over something that's simple. We used to say
it's hate speech now.
Well, we used to say a bunch of people. You could say guys before, and it was no big deal. You could say ladies and gentlemen, you could say guys, you could say folks, but all that now is becoming hate speech, and it's well...
Comrades.
Yeah, you want me to say comrades? And actually that is true, they want to say comrades. But it's comrades today, and that could be hate speech again tomorrow. It's just, no, we need to simplify our language so we can communicate together, because we need to communicate to solve these things. We shouldn't be making things more complicated just because it's the theme of today. And that's what he's getting upset about, is the theme of today shouldn't be inserted into these things, because it's not fun anymore. It's not a good conversation. Here's the Act Man again, talking about the gorilla-shaped man on the verge of crying. So Az actually responded to this, which was hilarious. He talked about he's on a big workout routine right now, and he talked about how he appreciated how the old video showed him in contrast to the new video, and how much weight he's lost since then. But you know what? It's a little crazy. He says talk about shooting this guy with a tranquilizer. Like I said, did Az get carried away in his rant? Yeah, he did get a little carried away. Was pronouns in this one game a big deal? No, absolutely not. And as you see in this, it was for publicity. But I think he was just trying, like I said, to draw this whole argument, this whole conversation. He was trying to draw attention to it to say, enough's enough here. We need to be talking about this in more of an eloquent way. We need to be actually discussing this instead of just saying, the argument's over, this is how it is, because that's not how most of the people feel. At least half the populace, but I would argue more than that. Don't feel that this argument's over and we need to be discussing it, instead of saying, you know what, we're just going to put it everywhere. It's okay to share different points of view, but we also need to cover the other side of things, just to let people know that we do understand there are varying points of view, but if all points of view are to be respected, then you need to understand his as well.
Well, people are just tired of having every single aspect of their lives being covered by he, she, they, and them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just everywhere, and it's in every medium now. Not just entertainment; it's in everything. Canada tried to insert it into a bill. And now this, like, it was just for government, but it was going to force government or compel government workers to say certain pronouns, or they couldn't say any pronouns like mother, father, it's not necessarily a pronoun, but he, she. Anyways, they weren't gonna
aunt, uncle.
Yeah, anything gender defining, they weren't gonna allow you to say. And so, I mean, that got taken back a bit. But when you're trying to compel speech, that's a dangerous path to go down. And that's what we need to get away from. And that's what we need more people speaking out against. Because unless someone speaks out against, I mean, what's the old quote or adage? All it takes for evil to succeed is for good people to do nothing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And now I'm not saying pronouns are evil, but compelled speech absolutely is evil. And I think that's at the forefront of being evil, and you can't compel people to say things. Because if you do, I mean, you're going to lose, at the very least, the silent majority. But anyways, here's his tweet now. The gorilla-looking guy doing his hour at the gym. So I did read that somewhere. So he later posted on X that he allegedly confirms the explosive rant was just about this is a calculated publicity stunt to bring more attention and a significant and positive attention to social media platforms. The intent behind the video was just to generate buzz and to spark that broader conversation within the gaming community. Starfield refunds demanded by idiots getting upset over pronouns. Jeez Louise, I love how they say idiots right in the title. There's no bias whatsoever.
Let me just put it right in your face. We don't agree with you.
Yeah. It's important we cover this, though. It's important we talk about it, even if they call someone straight up an idiot because they disagree with them. Now, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things wrong with that.
If they were just over pronouns, oh my gosh, not that big of a deal, then Gina Carano? Yeah, she wouldn't have been fired over beep bop boop.
Well, and that's just pronouns, it. If it's not such a big deal, why are you firing people over it?
Exactly.
And you're really like I said, government was trying to legislate it in some countries, and the cancel culture was absolutely trying to make sure it was a thing. And if it's not such a big deal, if it's going to disappear shortly, as the Ace said in one of his tweets, where it's you never see it again, if it's not such a big deal, then why does everyone make it a big deal that says it's not such a big deal?
Because it's at the forefront of everybody's mind. It's who you're sleeping with, that's the biggest deal.
Well, yeah, who you are is, I shouldn't even say who you are, people over
exactly.
And you're really like I said, government was trying to legislate it in some countries, and the cancel culture was absolutely trying to make sure it was a thing. And if it's not such a big deal, if it's going to disappear shortly, as the Ace said in one of his tweets, where it's you never see it again, if it's not such a big deal, then why does everyone make it a big deal that says it's not such a big deal?
Because it's at the forefront of everybody's mind. It's who you're sleeping with, that's the biggest deal.
As we get into this article, breaking news just in, idiots get upset over pronouns in video games. Pronouns that we use every day because none of us can avoid conversation that involve she and they. Sadly, the fact the pronouns are part of life seems to have escaped the game demanding Starfield refunds, or the gamers demanding Starfield refunds. When Starfield opened up its early access, most have expected fans to get angry over poor graphics or jutting frame rates, yet once again, the internet proves that people really just get upset over the simplest things, especially if it happens to touch their extremist nerves. So, I don't buy a Starfield game, number one, until 6 months after it's out.
Right?
Because Bethesda Games, number one, Todd Howard, is the biggest person, at least in the top three, probably, of any CEOs of game companies that overpromise and underdeliver every single time. And it takes 6 months for the game to be fixed. Not by the game developers over at Bethesda Game Studios. No. It's the modders that fix it over 6 months. And then they put it in a playable state, and then you can play it. It's usually pretty good at that point.
Well, so that's your problem, though. You're giving it to that big box AAA Bethesda like studio when you can just give it to you like somebody from like an indie game like No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
Much rather would do that.
And No Man's Sky came out years ago, and honestly, a very immersive spacefaring experience. Fantastic if you haven't played it yet. And I think that's what Starfield wanted to be. Now, from what I hear, I haven't played it, like I said, and I won't play a Bethesda game for at least another 5 months and 3 weeks here. But No Man's Sky is a fantastic game, and Starfield, from what I hear, it's good while you're engaged, while the story's going on. And while that's not happening, which is the majority of it, it's quite boring and dull and full of loading screens. And the space aspects of it are not very interesting. In fact, not necessary. Go to a better engine. There's so many better ones out there. Go talk to Epic.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
There's tons of great engines. I just don't like theirs. And I think they need to be looking at using different engines. Just make a better game. I don't like your graphics right now, and I don't like your bugs, and they're always full of them, and I think your developers probably go... I don't want to say your developers are bad. I don't think that's the case. I think they're working with a very poor engine. But as we get into this, let's be clear, Baldur's Gate 3 let you have sex with the bear, as well as other unusual romantic options. Then and that was a big deal, by the way. That was a controversy as well. But anyways,
weird.
then there's more relevant fact that Cyberpunk 2077 and Baldur's Gate 3 has similar features as Starfield as well. This kind of option is by no means new and isn't offensive in the slightest. Yeah, Cyberpunk let you do the same thing. And honestly, like I said, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think this one instance of it is a big deal. And as you saw, it was him doing a publicity stunt. I think that it's just everywhere, and it was just becoming, it's
the build-up.
It's like 1,000 cuts,
Yeah.
One's not so bad, but 1,000 little paper cuts are going to eventually get to you. But Baldur's Gate 3, and I think this hits a nail on the head here, I think that's a fantastic point that, yeah, I want to be able to do whatever I want in gaming. And do I want them to take out pronouns in gaming? No, I don't actually want that. But I want every gamer to have the experience they want to have. He talks about, or goes through a scene of a woman who's trying to be a man. It's just, is that wrong? Not necessarily, but again, it's just when it's everywhere, it's just not immersive anymore. Yeah, and so Dr. Disrespect also went in on the action, having recently been triggered because Bethesda's head of publishing has pronouns in his bio. I mean, it makes sense. You have who's the editor for this? This is gamingbible.com, by the way. This is, oh my goodness, your bias is showing so badly, but I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, if you live in California, where you live, where's your publication at? People are just tired of seeing it everywhere in every medium. It's
like making their problem my problem, and I'm so tired of making it's boring.
I'm not saying representation's a bad thing, not by any means. I'm just saying when you put it everywhere, then representation is just way too much in your face. And I know you're trying to normalize it, but by normalizing, you're just turning people away. Or by trying to normalize it, you're turning people away. But this meltdown has particularly caught people's attentions and arguably started this ridiculous backlash over normal terms. It came from the Hills vs. Babyface. I'll have nothing more than be dragged out in every effing conceivable opportunity so that you can effing current day us.
This guy's a potty mouth.
This is yeah, it was a pretty big rant. But anyways, it's an ugly part of a video game community that's deeply damaging. We can roast these people for their ideologies as far more alarming than any pronoun in the game or bio. Thankfully, for more positive experience and impressions, have come from the Starfield early access, like the gamer who got sober so they could enjoy it. So, you know what? This goes on to say, this just talks about the controversy and why there's a boycott going on. Do I think there's some people wanting to boycott it for this purpose? Maybe. I mean, boycotts are a thing. Maybe. Yeah. That's not why people are refunding it, though. I've read the people on Twitter. I've seen the posts. People are refunding it because it was overhyped and underdelivered. This isn't what people expect.
Because guess what? Bethesda released an unfinished game.
Like always. And this happened for Fallout 76. Was there anyone saying that we should boycott it? No, it happened because Bethesda makes shitty games on release. It takes modders 6 months to fix it. And by then, people come back in, and you should thank your modders, Bethesda, instead of charging them like you did for Skyrim to actually produce content, which was absolutely ridiculous. They fixed your game for you.
Arseholes.
But anyways, it's just crazy. That's my take on it. I think that realistically, we're just sick of seeing it everywhere. Emma Flint, if this is you who wrote the article, I think that you should go back to journalism school because you have to report facts. You don't have to, we do opinion piece. Now, this is not coming off. This doesn't say an op-ed in any way, shape, or form. But this is 100% an opinion piece from her, same as what we're doing here. And we're not journalists. We're just YouTubers. So what are you? Anyways, if you want to be a journalist, all I'm saying is you have to report facts. But this, our take on it is, I think it's just overdone everywhere. And I think this is good that it's coming to the forefront of conversation now. I think we have to have this conversation because people are getting a little tired of it.
People are getting exhausted from it, and people don't want to deal with it anymore. We don't want to see it.
Yeah, but anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is, do you guys want to see more of this stuff? More representation in gaming? I don't think it's a terrible thing overall. I just think that you need to pick time and place. I think that, when it's everywhere, then it's just too much in your face. But
absolutely. 100%.
Anyways, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I've got nothing else to say.
Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you like content like this, please let us know. We'll make sure to do more of it.
See you later, guys. Toodles.
Bye, guys.